Hey guys, welcome back to another video. That wasn't good, was it? Manchester City have just lost 1-0 against Aston Villa in the worst ever managerial performance by Guardiola in a top 5 European league. Basically, Pep's worst ever league performance. Genuinely true. Statistically, that is his worst ever performance as a manager. I genuinely felt when I was watching that we were witnessing the worst ever Guardiola performance in a game that mattered. You know, obviously we've seen us be really poor in Carabao Cup games when we rotate loads of players, whatever. Southampton springs to mind immediately from last season. But I felt watching that this might actually be a worst league game ever. And I even went back to the Everton game to have a look at it. And the Everton game where we lost 4-0 in the first season. It's worse than that, man. Everton scored 4. That day, to be fair, Claudio Bravo let everything through his hands. We actually had 71% possession that day and we lost 4-0. We had 14 shots on goal, something like that. And they had about 4 shots on goal. They scored all of them. So we sort of battered them. But then they took all the chances and we scored none of that. This was worse than that. This was statistically the most chances Guardiola's ever conceded in the game, and also the fewest shots he's ever had in a game. It was quite literally his worst ever statistical performance in a league game as manager. He's managed over 500 games in his career. It was that bad. Now, obviously, how much you want to read into that is your prerogative. But when something is the worst in 530 odd games, it's worth paying attention to. It's not normal. And the thing is, if it was just some freak anomaly and we won loads of games beforehand, I'd be like, all right, I don't know what happened. Something terrible had happened, you know. But the issue for me is it's been trending that way. It's been trending that way for various reasons. Of course, absentees make a difference. Villa are a cracking side. I've got to give Villa credit immediately. But there's no way, even with Villa that good in previous seasons, we would have been that outplayed. No chance. We would have gone toe to toe with them at very least. You know, as great as Villa were, you know, and Villa played like prime Liverpool. We still always went toe to toe. You know what I mean? And this to me was scary. This was scary. This was a performance of desperation actually. And what I saw was a bunch of players, players not knowing what to do, looking around, out of position, lost, confused, just sort of hopeless, if I'm being truly honest. And it's worrying. It's sort of worrying. This is the worst I've seen from Manchester City side, you know, under Guardiola. It really is. It really is. And hopefully it's not a big problem, but I think there's an over-reliance on certain players more than ever. And that's where we're at. Anyway, this is the Fan View Live. Of course, it's your chance to have a chat with me. I keep it open to members and Patreons. You'll know the usual link. You'll find it on patreon.com/Steam Company. It's always the same link. You'll find it, of course, in the YouTube comments. YouTube community tab. If you want to sign up and have a chat with me, go for it. I'm going to get over to Kevil in a second, who's waiting, then Dashmesh, then Michael, in that order. Guys, please give the video a like. I know it's not a pleasant subject, but it does help support the channel, and hopefully I can be a voice of reason, even if it's not the reasons you want to hear, as we dive through this together. Right, I'm going to bring Kevil in right now. 1 second, where is he? 2 seconds, my friend. There we go, Kevil.
Good,
You are
man. Yep,
live. How
yep.
are you doing, man?
Just just not a good performance footballing wise. So
Just sort of downplaying it almost, if anything. I mean, it was not a good performance at all. Kevin was just telling me off air though he did have some good news. It was a new baby in the
yeah,
family. Is
yeah,
that right?
yeah. Just I think a week or 2 weeks ago, recently. So I just talked
Uh,
to my cousin recently today. So
Beautiful. Congratulations
yeah,
to you and the family, mate. And
thanks,
it's
man.
just nice to know that there is more to life, because I need to know
Right,
on
yeah,
days like today. Uh,
right.
Kevil, where does that stand for you? How immediately? How are you feeling about this? Because obviously you've seen all my
Um,
videos and tweets and whatever, but I don't want to influence anyone. Where is your head at after this game?
very disappointed. I just didn't enjoy the game at all. I was looking through it. I think start of second half we started to look good. I was like, okay, maybe we can sneak a cheeky 1-0 win or 1-1 draw,
Yeah,
hopefully. But then after like the 50th, 60th minute, it just went downhill, and we could not get one foothold in the game. They kept crossing. We kept heading the ball out. We kept clearing their crosses and their shots, and it would just fall back to their center backs who'd attack, kind of like we do to most teams, but instead it was getting done to us this time. and just could not get foothold at all, even with the substitutions, which I think were a little late, anyways. Uh, and couple of them, yeah, I just didn't see a point to Foden and Oscar Bob. Like, the what was the point of making that change? If it was like a different formation or a different system, yeah, sure, that would have made a difference. But he's doing the exact same Foden would have done, and it's not like
with half
that
the
changed
quality.
anything.
And I
Yeah,
mean that
exactly.
politely to Oscar Bob, just because he's not a left winger and he's a kid. I,
Exactly.
how concerned are you by this? Um,
Uh,
Obviously, three draws in a row.
I
Um,
think I'm
Trending down.
concerned in terms of the results and obviously the season, but I'm not concerned towards the quality of the players that we have,
Okay.
or just the lack of injuries, for example, in this case. I feel like if we had our full squad back, we would definitely I definitely wouldn't get battered like today. So hopefully there's some chances to that, but when you look at the league overall, just dropping points. So, we talk all that shit about United, but they're only 3 points behind us. Arsenal, they've scored like five late winner goals of wins or draws. I remember against Chelsea, 84th minute, against us, 86th minute. Yesterday against Luton, 97th minute.
Yeah.
Against United, back in August, like week 2 or week 3, where Jesus scored that late winner, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Just look at that. They're also struggling. I don't think they're playing well, but they're getting the wins. And same with Liverpool as well. Against Fulham, they were struggling. They were down bad, and they still got the win somehow. So I feel I'm concerned about the league overall.
What is the root cause of these issues in your opinion right now?
I think it's just a lack of players. We got way too many injuries and suspensions for Grealish and Rodri. Too many suspensions for Rodri. Unnecessary suspensions just choking someone in that 46th minute against Forest when we
Yeah.
are 2-1 unnecessary. Grealish, I don't know how he got 5 yellow cards in 14 games. He doesn't even start all the games. So, um, uh, poor decisions by key players and not showing up form. Kyle Walker, not good season so far. Alvarez has dropped off recently. Uh, Ruben Diaz making mistakes in previous games defensively. Akanji making defensive errors. I feel like Akanji's wasted in the middle right now. Anyways, he should be out wide in like the Kyle Walker position.
Yeah.
He is better. He's like 1v1 really good defending. He's defending against Sane, Vinicius a little bit. Uh, I forgot the left winger for Inter, but all of those players he was doing well. So
Yeah. Do you? So we talk about players coming back being the solution. Probably true. Um, is that not also at the same time quite damning indictment of the current squad, though?
yeah,
Is it up to the level that we require? Because I said on Twitter at full time, I don't mind losing. I really don't. It's always the manner of the loss, and the biggest issue for me is that now, based off what we've seen, and we've got a decent body of evidence now because we've had multiple games without Rodri, and obviously plenty about Stones and Grealish, and it feels like now if certain players, it felt like in the past if certain players weren't available, we'd still have a chance. But now it feels like if certain
right.
players aren't available, we're screwed. And it
Yeah,
feels, is it that different? Am I overthinking it here? Where do you stand on
I
the squad situation?
yeah, definitely. I mean, even when KDB and Rodri get back, and we have KDB, Rodri, Stones, and Bernardo in the midfield, Rodri will have to play every single game. That's just so he will get affected by tiredness. KDB is 33 injury issues recently. John Stones injury issues. So even if they have those players, if we don't have those four starting, then we are at the risk of not playing well. And all three of those fours are just not injury prone or tiredness. So at that point, we kind of concerned about the squad in general. I felt like Gundogan was a bad miss. Riyad Mahrez it was he wanted to leave. It couldn't be done. Same with Laporte. We signed Gavardio for it. So, but Gundogan, I feel like we signed Nunes after Gundogan left. So, I feel like we could have kept Gundo.
Kevel, I'm concerned, mate. I am, and I don't
Yeah,
know if things will be okay. As ever, it's always been a pleasure chatting to you, man. I'm going to get on to Dashmesh
you
because it's
too.
very late already. But thank you so much, man, and I'll catch you very, very shortly.
Yep.
Top bloke, Kevel. Wonderful as always. Dashmesh, if you are there and ready, let me know. I'll bring you in a couple of seconds. There we go. Hello, my friend. Good
Yeah,
evening.
hi Steven.
Uh,
How are you?
yeah, bit better. Um, sum up your mood after that 90 odd minutes of football.
To be honest, like I'm not angry, just a bit disappointed today.
Just a bit.
Like, like, because to be fair, I was expecting not a great result today. So that's why I think I'm not
Yeah.
that angry because after all the suspension we had last match and like I was more angry against Tottenham than I am today. And and after the team sheet that I saw today, like I don't know how Walker and like I don't know why Pep didn't change the team today. Like especially seeing the signs which were there in the Tottenham game that Kyle Walker wasn't up for the game today as well. And like from the start itself, he had like three, four situations where he could have done much better in the game. And
Is it
and
tough to drop your captain? Do you think there's anything to do with that in it?
like might be because he had to literally take him to dinner to stop him
I know.
at City. So like it might be a thing, but like both. I don't understand why Ake didn't start today as well. Like we needed some like solid defense today. And I guess Ake would be much better because no one is talking about Ake starting over Guardiola. I know Guardiola is a new signing. Like still Ake should be preferred, I guess, before him. And recently we have seen Ake have performed very well as well. Like whenever he came as substitute in last couple of games.
Yeah.
But I don't know why he's just not starting games right now, but I think he should.
No, I agree. I mean, I don't think Ake's been perfect. But I don't. If you were to ask me quite simply who's more likely to be perfect, Ake or Vardio, I'd say Ake. Not because I think he's a better player or anything like that. He might be, might not be. More just because I think he's more used to the system. I think he's more experienced. He's a treble winner. It just makes more sense. And I'm a firm believer of back to basics. Like it's very simple. Like if players around you aren't feeling confident, give the guys who know what they're doing the job. And I think Vardy has to do an awful lot. He's got big shoulders, but there's a lot to be on them at this age. And I agree with that. I've actually been surprised by a lack of changes. I think you're right. I thought there'd be more.
Yeah,
Do you think that's inevitable
and
now? Go
also
on.
yeah, sorry, I was just about to say, and another thing which I was a bit frustrated at the end about, like, we were trying to make chances, but we were not even crossing the ball inside. And like at the end, I think in the last 2 minutes, Kovacic had two chances to cross the ball. Like, just cross the ball. It
Yeah,
can be like deflected in. Haaland can get a good chance, but it's like we come so near to the box and then we start passing again. I think it's very similar to what was happening last year when there was a period when we were not creating chances. I
yeah,
know we were creating chances in last 2 3 games, but this match itself, like we were not creating much. Like Haaland was frustrated because one chance he missed. Other than that, he didn't get any other chance. And like our all the creatives player, they were just passing and passing a lot rather than just trying to shoot like you saw against like in the Arsenal game like yesterday. They were just lobbing the ball inside, crossing the ball, trying to hit the shots. And today everyone was like trying to pass and not actually trying to score. Like that was one of the most frustrating bit at the end for me today.
yeah.
So
That's the thing for me is like you're watching. It was Oscar Bob and Kovacic and Vardy down that side, and I'm thinking, just why don't you just throw the ball into the box? Like, it's not complicated. It literally is. You know that from a very young age in football. You just score a goal, put the
Yeah.
ball in the box when you've got a 6'5" striker there, and defenders hanging around the area. Like the utter refusal to do with it. I mean, I don't think for 1 second there's a refusal to do it. That's probably not the right word, but there's a lack of confidence to do it. Like
Hesitation. Yeah,
hesitation.
hesitation. Yeah.
Conviction is everything. The best teams that have ultimate conviction in the plan of what they're going to do. This is as simple as that. Conviction and quality are like work rate, conviction, and quality. If you have those three things, you're sorted. Like if you work really hard, you get loads of quality, you have conviction in the plan, you're gonna win. And like City right now are, they've got the variable quality by their own standards, but there's so little conviction, and that's the thing for me when I watch it. Like they looking at. And the conviction is understandable. There's players just playing out of position, players who aren't fully up to speed in the system yet. Like,
Yeah, and especially with the two suspensions, like it was very unfortunate that we had two suspensions in the same game, and like both of them, I guess, would be starters. So like that was one of the major issues as well. And I hope definitely we would be much better the next game. And also in the midfield, like I know we were without Rodri, but like even though it was Rodri, even then currently it's like Alvarez is not actually working in the midfield right now. In this game as well, I actually wanted Alvarez, even if he plays, just play him forward or like maybe two strikers or maybe play him on the right and play Bernardo in the middle. Like I actually wanted it after seeing last couple of games because Alvarez is not able to like be involved much in the games like for the last 2 3 games, and he doesn't actually help a lot in terms of defending.
yeah,
So I actually wanted to use Bernardo's energy in the midfield
I
rather
agree.
than him on the right and him on the wing. So I think Pep should actually work a little bit about either play Kovacic instead of Haaland, just like double pivot, or play Bernardo in the midfield. So like
Before
I
before I
truly
move
feel.
on to Michael Dashmesh, it, what do you think Pep will? So we're talking about Walker, Alvarez, people like that, Vardiel. Do you think Pep will make these changes for Luton? Like, because Luton away, they obviously gave Arsenal a bit of a scare last night. This
I
sort of
think
sudden
I
becomes a
think
huge game,
he
doesn't it?
I think he would make change, but he wouldn't make all these changes altogether. I think either he would replace Walker or he'll replace Alvarez. Like I don't think all the changes which we think he should make, he'll make them all together. I think he'll try to rectify one issue at the time. And so I think either Walker won't play or because it's also in next 3 days, 3 or 4 days,
Yeah,
whatever it is. So either way, like players might need a bit rest as well. So we might see a few changes anyways. I think Grealish would come back straight
yeah.
and Rodri would come back straight. So we would see a little bit change team anyways. But I suppose he would change one of those things, if not both. So yeah.
Dashmesh, you're an absolute gent. Lovely to chat to you, mate, and have a wonderful rest of your evening. See you later, pal. Bye bye. Thank you.
Yeah. You too. Bye bye.
Top bloke. I'm going to go over to Michael Grasser, who's been waiting very patiently as well. Then after Michael, moving on to Marcus as well. Don't forget, guys, this is the Fan View Live. You guys can have a chat with me about the game and vent and get whatever you want off your chest after that. If you are watching and waiting to come on as well, come on, come in with what you want to say. It doesn't always have to be me asking you guys questions. If you want to just get something off your chest, you want to rant about something, Manchester City or praise something, you feel free. You can have your own agenda if you want to. It doesn't just have to be that. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, all the usual stuff. You had my 35 minutes of me ranting after the game, so this is a chance for you guys to chat to me about the game. I'm going to jump over to Michael. 1 second, Michael, my friend, how are you today?
Doing all right. How you doing?
I'm okay. I think Dashmess or one of them said it. They sort of expected it, and I feel like that's where I'm at. Like I didn't even want to watch this game. I just didn't. I woke up this morning thinking, it's a late kickoff. I'm not in the mood for it. We're gonna lose. I didn't want. Do you want a confession?
Okay,
Last
go.
night I was scheduling all the videos because the live video. So, and I was telling Nicola this. And I just you put placeholder thumbnails in or whatever, and you put placeholder text in the vague hope that when you come to do the live video, it's actually right. And last night when I was doing the watch along, getting it ready, and I put an unlisted version of the match reaction, I actually just I thought we're gonna lose this, and I had a headline, and I put a headline of like, oh, we've got a serious problem, because I thought this is genuinely my mood, and I nearly said it live by accident last night, and I thought I'm gonna get cancelled to fuck, because I thought I was genuinely in my mood, and you know what the annoying thing is. I hate that I was right. I woke up this morning thinking we're going to lose tonight, and it's going to be really painful, and it's going to be. And I didn't know it could be this bad. I didn't know it could be, Michael, the worst ever statistical performance by Guardiola's side. Have you seen that stat going around, by the way?
I've seen it going around. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
hard to
that's how I am,
believe.
Michael. that's how I am. That's it's an answer for you there.
That's a long answer. Yeah.
How do you feel after the game?
Honestly, I think right after it happened, I was more calm. Just like I knew the performance was just so bad, but I was just like, I feel like this season going into games, I give the whole team just so much like leeway with the performances and the results after, because of what we achieved last
Yeah.
season. So it's
I
like,
agree.
and no team has ever won 4 in a row in the first place. So like, to go at them this season and hate on them for not doing something nobody's ever done before, it feels like a bit excessive. So
It's hard.
that's how I
It's
felt
hard,
right
isn't it? Though,
after.
like, because
But
obviously, like, I sort of chat about City, and this is what I do, and it's funny because I've already seen people, fans of other teams on Twitter, like, oh, look how spoiled they are. Like, it's weird because I'm only talking in the moment. It's like everything you said is true. Like, they have so much credit in the bank. They are legends to me. They are heroes. I love them to bits. But it's still, I can't be like, I can't just turn around and go, well, nothing matters anymore. I still watch football and still going to be like it's one of those things where you still want to judge the performance in the context of the season. And judge
yeah,
it by the high standards. And like when I'm saying like, oh, see, we've got a problem here, I mean, based off our own high standards. It looks ungrateful, doesn't it? But Pep's not happy just to cruise, is he? As fans, we can be like relaxed, but Pep isn't, is he? And how would you? That's an interesting question for you. How would you approach a season after you won the treble? Like what are the expectations? Like, do the team feel like there'll be some leeway? Mentally. Like, is this an issue? Is it more of an issue? I know Guardiola was talking about complacency and all that kind of stuff. Is it actually an issue, in your opinion?
that's a tough question. I mean, if anybody knows, it's him, because he's already won a treble. So, um, it, I think even I forget which season it was, but he's talked about complacency a lot
Yeah.
in recent. I think he chatted with Rio Ferdinand. I think that's when it was,
Yeah, I remember that.
and yeah, and he mentioned how, like, even without a treble, just winning the Premier League 2 years in a row, or 3 years in a row, it's the mental fortitude to go and do it again. And you saw comments from Kyle Walker earlier, and he kind of rebutted the complacency talk again, saying like of course, like nothing beats the feeling of standing on the podium at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Right. So from the outside looking in, it seems like they don't have sort of that mental block. But maybe it's their bodies that just it's like an internal thing that's sort of holding them back. Like, oh, who cares if we win it this season or something like that. It's such a hard question to answer.
It is. It is, and it's the $1,000,000 question. Really, it's one of those things I don't really know either. And I guess time will tell. And what's your kind of gauge on the season? Because it's very easy, and I'm talking to someone who's doing this right now, to get caught up in the heat of the moment. I guess my issue is more I'm worried about the squad. I think that's my issue. I'm not worried about the quality we have. I think if everyone's available, I think we have the quality. I'm worried about the squad because I think we're seeing questions answered unintentionally here. Still,
Yeah.
having said that, crystal ball out, does De Bruyne come back well? Are you confident that? Yeah, are you confident that you were touching that crystal ball there? You were having a great time. Are you confident that that we do go on one of these famous runs? Do you think we've got enough in the bank to do that?
I think the only way of doing that is with at least us signing in January, maybe two. Just because, and I think I saw it on Twitter earlier, and I think it's the biggest concern, at least for me as well, if for throughout the start of the season. Um, the tweet was basically saying how we have 3 midfielders at the club right now that are supposedly first team midfielders, but they're not necessarily trusted to play the games. So, I mean, I can say the names, but everybody probably knows it's
Yeah.
Phillips, Nunes, and Kovacic. I Nunes and Kovacic, I understand. Like
Yeah,
they
I
just
think
come into the club.
the trust is at different
It's
levels, isn't
hard
it? It's
to
different levels of trust.
it's hard to say like they're not trusted yet.
Contextual.
It's just that they're not ready
Ready.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a better way of putting it. So we have 2 midfielders who aren't ready yet to be fully integrated into the starting 11, and then we have 1 midfielder who is absolutely not trusted at all to even put in a single minute.
I don't even
seems in
consider him
game.
a City player. I know that sounds really harsh. I just don't. At this point, like he mails. You know what he
It's
is?
so
I know it
harsh,
sounds
bro.
cruel, but he's that kid who comes up from the academy and gets games of winning 4-0. That's all he is, and it's Calvin Phillips. It's crazy saying that, but that's the exact same treatment, isn't it?
Well, if I don't know how many people watching or even yourself who know anything about basketball, but
Not
obviously
me,
being
but
in
some
Canada,
sure
follow it along. They have people on the benches who don't play single minutes, but they're sort of considered the hype mans of the squad. So
Really?
that's kind of what. Yeah, yeah. You'll see people
So,
who have
look,
like record championships, like 8, 9, more than the goats of the game, who've just sat on the bench. Like they just move from team to team and just sit on the bench every game. They don't play
really? So
anything.
they get paid just to Scott Carson, basically.
Yeah, basically, yes. And that's kind of what Calvin Phillips. It's so harsh to say because I feel like he's such a good guy, and you could see his quality at Leeds, but it just I don't know what has gone wrong here that he is just not trusted with any minutes. But it's just the situation. And sorry, this has gone on so long, but to get to the
That's
point, bringing up this is tying it into needing January signings. Is that I feel like the squad this year is more susceptible to getting burnt out than in previous years,
I agree.
just because of the overload of minutes everybody's gonna have to play, and just the lack of youth players in and around the first team, and just players who can absolutely be trusted to just rotate in and out of the squad to give people breaks. Like no Mares who could come in on the right, give Bernardo or
Should have been
uh,
Cole, shouldn't
Phil
it?
a
Should have
break.
been Cole. He would have been
I
perfect.
don't even want to.
He
I
would
don't
have
want
been
to talk about
And
that.
people thought I was overreacting when I got so upset when he left. I was like, I just knew we needed him. We needed him. Like today, Cole Palmer would have been great. Like, and everyone was like, oh, Oscar Bob's great. And I'm like, he is great. But he's not as ready as
He
Cole
is.
Palmer yet. He's not as ready as Cole Palmer because Cole Palmer had 3 seasons around the first team. You know, he's just naturally Cole Palmer. But Oscar Bob's starting down there because he's a kid still, and he's great, but he's still a kid. And Cole Palmer,
I hate talking about that one. I hate it because of how well he's already gone and done, and now everybody's talking about him. He's new sensation on the block. I hate talking about him because, honestly, though, if I have to look back and say we got what 45 million for him, like it seemed like a good amount at the time. But I feel like to gain the 45 million and to lose all the depth that we had on the right,
it's not worth it.
it's
He's
just
worth
not
double
worth
that. In a year or two, be worth double that. I really believe he's a
I know. but he
wingers.
just-
English wingers at that age, if they've reached his potential, he's a 70, 80 million pound player. Of course he is. Of course he is. And like it's not worth
his
it.
value already went up 20 million, I guarantee.
Yeah, of course it is. He's 60. Like if Chelsea were selling him,
Like
to
they
someone
could go out
for-
in January and they need to sell him 65, 70 million they're getting for him. It's ridiculous. It's just
Oh, Michael. So to summarise, is essentially this down? Is this a lot down to poor squad planning?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you can see it even last year's window and then last year's windows, I'll say, because our January was very, very poor. I look in such hindsight to go back and say now because the treble, but when you actually take a look at that January window, it was poor to what we did.
Yeah.
And in the summer and this summer, we're sort of bringing in players who just are not clicking. Sergio Gomez, Calvin Phillips, obviously give the signings this year time, but like last year, I think you can say Calvin Phillips, Sergio Gomez, who have really just kind of come in, and it's almost like Sergio Gomez could go on loan and nobody would care. Calvin Phillips is going to leave, and it's no difference at all. It's just extra money in the pocket. Like you found $5 on the floor, and you just
Oh,
It's
that's such a bleak way of putting it, but you're absolutely bang on. On that note, Michael, thank you very much for chatting to me, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. You're a top bloke. Hopefully, next time we speak, we'll be in more positive circumstances. In a bit, mate. Good night. Thank you. Michael's ace. Top bloke, and he's right. They can't believe moving that, and it's just like finding a fiver. I said it is. Yeah, nice. Yeah, it ultimately means nothing. I'm gonna bring Marcus to the stage, so to speak. Marcus, welcome, my friend.
Right, see,
Yeah, yeah, mate, not bad. What do you want to chat about?
that's good. I want to chat about Edison. He
Edison.
was amazing.
Yeah, he was
was good.
actually. Was he the only one
Probably
to
our
give him
best
any
player.
credit? Yeah.
Probably our best player because he was. Honestly, I was surprised he even made those saves because he saved us. He kept the score down. Which is, nah.
It's nice, isn't it, to actually
Edison.
think about positives.
Yeah.
Well, Edison was, he was excellent.
Yeah.
And he got a bit of criticism as well
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
He
Ruben
should've-
Diaz was okay as well.
Yeah,
Ruben Diaz had a good game.
I
as well.
agree. He's obviously not the most creative on the ball, but I thought he
No.
did his defensive thing well
Yeah.
under an onslaught.
I saw him putting a cross at the last minute. I was like, you don't want him doing that. You don't want him putting in a cross in the last minute of a game.
Yeah, I tweeted
That's
that as
just
well.
where
I think I tweeted the same thing. I
that's
thought,
just where we're at now, isn't it?
yeah, Diaz with crosses were so done. It wasn't
Yeah.
the best at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a couple of positives there.
Yeah.
Things will be fine,
That's
right?
told him.
Everything's gonna be okay, right?
Hopefully by the end of the season, we need reinforcements in January. I don't think that Kevin will be enough. KDB won't be enough when he
reckon?
comes back. Nah.
Do you think we'll go
Because-
into the market in January? I mean, if Phillips goes,
I hope we do.
because I think Phillips will go. We have to.
I
Surely.
hope we do.
Like we can't
I
lose
hope we do,
another one. I know
because-
he's not a player, but he's like
Yeah.
he still technically is. Like we can't lose Phillips as well because like I'm looking at that bench, man. There's no one there. Like,
Nothing.
Like
nothing.
it's just so.
Mm.
It's so mid-table. I mean that.
Mm.
Like, we can't lose Calvin Phillips as
like-
well because it's then you got like. I'm looking at the bench now. So obviously Kovacic is what he
Mm.
is. He's a decent, good player. You know, he probably needs Rodri on the side. Nunes is a project in my opinion. Oscar Bob's a kid.
Mhm.
Ortega's backup
Yeah.
keeper. Scott Carson is not a footballer.
Mhm.
Ake is great. Calvin Phillips.
I
Guardiola.
like to start today. I like it to start today.
Yeah. Calvin Phillips doesn't think he's a footballer.
Hype
And then
man.
Sergio Gomez is just a random squad player for backup
Mhm.
games. So there's nothing there, is there? There's nothing. Like
Nope.
it's Ake. That's
Like
it.
we got the same we got the same squad as last season in terms of size, but the quality is just not there. It's just not there.
What needs to change?
Well, I don't have the answers for that really. But I was flirting with the idea of like playing
Oops.
front.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button then. Say that again. What's that? Sorry, mate.
I was flirting with the idea of playing Alvarez and Haaland further up from together, like as like a front two. Because at that point, why not? The 3-2-4-1 ain't working. We need a lot more midfielders, and most of them are out. So that's what simple.
It's
We've
one of those
got-
things, isn't it? Where like,
Yeah.
it's obviously not working. I mean,
Mm.
I do think, well, will Pep just turn around and go, he'll do something,
Yeah.
it'll work one day. I don't know, but it's so. That's the thing I wish I could know what Pep sees, because obviously he's way smarter than us. And
Yeah.
but we go through all this.
Yeah.
We see all these ideas. We're not getting it. I mean, it
And
could-
this game today felt like a death with 1,000 shots.
yeah.
Death by like it just
Yeah, it's not good, man. It's not good, and I do think there'll be changes. I think there has to be changes actually. Pep was sort of calm afterwards. I mean, but I can't imagine he's
Yeah.
going to be like
Mm.
there's always
I'm sure he's boiling. I'm sure he's boiling deep down inside because this is probably his worst. This is probably the worst a team of Pep Guardiola has ever looked.
I mean, it's literally the
Oh,
worst game
yeah.
ever statistically,
Yeah.
which is crazy. It's weird because I watched it. I was like, it felt that way. I was like, oh god. And the thing is, for me, is like it feels the whole thing about the squad feels so
Yeah.
unpepped. Like there's zero control and
Yeah.
composure, and the whole
No confidence either.
no, and Like, I just want to see City now just keep the ball for ages. I want to see I actually want to see City be really boring. Like, really just keep the ball and smother teams.
Yeah.
Keep the ball, and keep the ball, and keep the ball. Someone in the chat saying we're getting spoiled. You know what I mean? Like,
We're not being spoiled.
No,
We're
we're
not.
just comparing it to the levels that we're at, you know. And I'm not like criticizing players saying they all should be sold. I'm just talking about, it's obvious that these players aren't quite as good as the ones that we had. You know, I think that's probably fair.
Are we not allowed to talk about our team anymore? Like, are we not allowed to talk about our team when they're doing when they're doing not well? Or do they want us?
It's not like we just lost one game. We just not won in 5, I think. So
Like we're unbeaten in 4.
Yeah, like it's for City's level to not, you know, it's a big drop off, isn't it? Is there any confidence left? You know, like not left. That's not the right word. But like, where's your balance, your meter right now in terms of like your view for the season? You know, are you still?
I still think we're going to win the league.
You do.
I still think we're going to win the league.
Well, that's a big positive.
This ain't like this is one of the mid seasons. This is the mid season slump as we go in.
Okay, so you think it's going to turn around?
I still think we're going okay. We'll still turn it around.
KDB then, basically, yeah.
Yep.
KDB comes back and
KDB
all right.
Yeah.
God, I hope he's all right, man. I hope his knee's okay in it because we don't know. We don't know how it's going to be.
Yeah.
He probably will be. Marcus, I'm so tired, man. I'm going to leave it there. That's okay.
Fine.
It's a pleasure chatting to you, as always. You're a superstar. I'll catch you in a bit, man, and hopefully next time.
Bye.
Yeah, catch you post Luton in a bit. Good night, man.
Bye.
Thank you so much to Marcus, Michael, Dashmesh, and Kevel. All absolute legends. Fan for your life here, of course. Watch my match reaction if you want to. I need to sleep on this result. I need to think about it a little bit more. I could be overreacting. I could be being emotional. My gut tells me I've always tried to be positive. And I do think there are players in Kovacic, Nunes, Vardy, whatever. I think there are good players there. But my issue is I think they are more. There's an element of they're not ready yet to be Gundogan. That's the issue. Like if we'd signed Kovacic in addition to Rice, Bellingham, whatever, something like that, I'd be like, oh great, and he's back up, brilliant. But the problem is, I think we've got Kovacic in a year or two could be a cracking Guardiola player. Nunes same, but that we need them now, and that's where I feel right now. And Vardy, he's a young lad. I'm not concerned about it. Ake should be playing a bit more maybe, but when you lose Mahrez and Palmer as well, the backups and all the other kids, it feels like too much of a drop off, and that concerns me. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll go live in the morning, I'm sure, or whatever. 5 things later should be interesting. You're all awesome. In a bit, not the best night, but we move.